Ben McDonald, this is Rich, and this is Hannah. Come watch me mash these two right up with some Power Club training. Okay, hello, my name's Ben McDonald, and today we're going to be doing some dynamic Power Club training. I've got my friend Richard Scrivener, and I've got my other friend Hannah, who's here to help us today. What we're going to be doing is a general sort of warm-up, some activation sort of exercises. We're then going to be doing a swing, a swipe with a lunge, a mill, and a double crossbody cast. Now, at the moment, that probably means absolutely nothing whatsoever to you, but by the end of this, you'll be 100%, okay? So let's get into it. It's warm-up time. Before we do any sort of Power Club workout, what we need to do is a full body dynamic warm-up. Now, the aim of this is to get the body warmed up, heart rate's gonna come up, we're gonna mobilise our joints, and we're gonna be able to activate our muscles a little bit better. So, it's going to look something like this. Now, I know that Rich and Hannah are highly experienced, but you at home may not be. So it's important to remember that we start off nice and steady and we build up that momentum. So what I'm going to ask Rich and Hannah to do is just follow me. So we're going to start off, we're going to flex from the hip and the knee at the same time, and we're going to drop our arms behind us. So down into this part of the movement, and then as we come up, our arms are just going to come up above our heads, and then down. We're just going to start off dead nice and steady. Brilliant. And then from there, we're going to build up a little bit of momentum. Fantastic. You may want to take a little bit more time if you're slightly less experienced than my friends with me. I am the UK's leading expert on Power Club training, and I designed and wrote the only Power Club training course available in the UK. I'm a health, fitness and nutrition lecturer for Premier Training International, and I'm also a personal trainer, and I train people using cutting edge training techniques and different types of training mediums, a little bit different than the usual, if you like. Fantastic, so we're getting that those shoulder joints really warmed up, really well mobilised. Fantastic. Then from there, we're going to lunge out, and we're going to do a lunge with a rotation. And what we're going to do is, as we lunge, we're going to rotate over the lead leg, all right? Should look something like this. Out to there, rotate, back up to there. Out to there, rotate, and back up to there. So with me? Back up. Perfect. So we're getting that little bit of rotation, as we did with our squat to overhead reach with rotation. Spot on.
I started working as a receptionist in the gym back in Buckinghamshire, and then I proceeded to do my training over the last 3 years probably before I was qualified. And I'm a bit of a kickboxer, do mixed martial arts, lots of fighting training. I like my weight training, so a little bit more hardcore than normal girly stuff, but very exciting. I'm actually training to go on the British Stunt Register at the moment as I work in a film studio, so I do lots of very exciting training techniques.
We're going to do some activation techniques. So first off, what we're going to do is down into a plank, okay, or a prone bridge. This is going to be elbows and toes. So when you're ready, down we go. And we're just going to hold that there. Keep it there. Now the aim is not to fatigue, but just to activate our core muscles. So just for 6 seconds. How many seconds is that, Anna? I'm not very good at counting. What is it? 4.5. Is that about 6, Rich? Perfect. Up we get. Spot on, back on your toes again. Perfect. And this time what we're going to do is, we're going to go into a supine bridge. A little bit complicated. It's sort of like a pelvic tilt type of position. All right, so when we're ready, we're going to go down onto our backs. Down to there, knees bent. And then from there, hands down by your side. You're going to push your hips up, squeeze at the top, back down. As soon as your hips touch the floor or your bottom touches the floor, bosh, back up we go again. The power club that we're going to be using today looks a little bit like, well, it looks very similar to this. In fact, it is this. We've got the barrel head of the club here, we've got the cone, and then we've got the neck of the club and the pommel down at the bottom end. Now, the thing is with a club, the reason that it's so different to any other sort of training medium is that the weight is situated right at the top end of the club. So the club's always trying to drift all over the place and sort of get away from you a little bit. Now also, because we do these big sort of dynamic movements, with most sort of different types of weights that you'll use, the weight tends to sort of be trying to pull away and out through your grip, pulling your fingers open. Now with power clubs, the weight's trying to pull this way, it's trying to pull out of your hand. So that's why it's always important to make sure that any sort of dynamic movements you're going to do, make sure that your grip's nice and strong, because you don't want to be letting go of one of these, because they'll go like a bullet out of a gun. Down and touch and bosh. Up again. Perfect. One more. Brilliant. And again. Down, fire it up. Really feel them glutes and hamstrings firing up. Brilliant. Back up. Last one.
My name's Richard Scrivener. I'm a health and fitness lecturer for Premier Training International. I've been working with the company for close on 5 years now, and I'm a big fan of using the power clubs alongside other training mediums like kettlebells and the Olympic weightlifting lifts too. They're all very complementary of each other. I first got into bells perhaps a couple of years ago. My colleague Ben, who's running through the session earlier, is the master trainer for the company with the power clubs, and spent quite a bit of time with him and researching power clubs, practicing, using them with my clients and in my own training. I've certainly seen the benefits of using clubs over the last couple of years. They're very dynamic, they're very complementary to other training mediums. They certainly give you an extra dimension to what you might currently do.
How are we feeling? Nice and warm?
Pretty good, man.
Feeling nice and warm? We're ready to go. Okay, so let's get it on. If you want to get started using power clubs, an important thing to think about is the weight that we're going to use. Now, the good thing about power clubs is we don't need to get tons and tons of different weights, because the difficulty is going to be increased the further our hand moves down towards the pommel of the club. So if we can get a club, maybe a 4 kg for ladies, maybe a 6 kg for men as maybe a starting weight, we can start with our hand right up near the cone of the club. And this will decrease the lever length of the club. So it makes it a little easier. It's not as challenging on the wrist, on the elbow and on the shoulder, shoulder joint and also the shoulder girdle. Now, as we sort of progress and we get a little bit better, we can just move our hands down the neck of the club in sort of small increments, and we can increase the lever length of the club, making it even more challenging for our bodies. Then after that, we progress a little bit more. We may want to invest in a slightly heavier club. We're all warmed up and we're ready to go. The movements that we're going to perform today, we're going to be performing swipes, we're going to be performing swings, swipes with lunges, we're going to be performing a mill, and we're going to be performing a double crossbody arm cast. Now, for these purposes, I've got a very light club, just to demonstrate the techniques that I'm going to be asking Rich and Hannah to perform. So I've also got a heavier club as well. Now, because these movements are quite dynamic and quite challenging, Hannah's got 2 clubs. One, because as the movements become more sort of dynamic, they tend to become more challenging, especially on the grip strength. And as you can see, we've all got a little bit of chalk on our hands so that we don't let go of a club and kill Hannah or kill Rich, or even worse, they kill me. The first move we're going to perform is a swing. Very, very simple movement. Now, all I'm going to ask you to do, guys, is from there, the club's going to drop down. As it drops past your leg, you're going to flex from the hip and slightly at the knee. And from there, it's all to do with this hip snap. Boom, you're going to extend at the hip and the knee, and push the club up. So we're guiding from the shoulder. We're not lifting from the shoulder, we're guiding from the shoulder. So from there, bosh, up to there, bosh, up to there, boom, really snap them hips in, boom, superb. And again, bam, brilliant, just above shoulder height. Fantastic. Now, the swing is a superb exercise for generating force from the hips and the glutes and the hamstrings, and the transference across into a sporting sort of environment. Any sport that uses that you jump or that you're running, the swing is a fantastic movement to promote or to benefit those particular sports. So that pretty much covers every sport that I can think of, apart from maybe darts. Perfect, well done. Fantastic, Rich. Bam, great hip snap, brilliant. Perfect, Anna, you're looking good. Okay, down we go, clubs down. Absolutely fantastic. So, we're on it like Wallace and Gromit. Cracking. The next exercise we're going to do, we're going to look at a swipe. So we're going to start very similar to the swing. So the club's going to drop down, you're going to flex at the hip and the knee, but this time as we snap, as we hip snap, the club's going to come up, we're going to keep it tight to our shoulder, drop it behind our back, throw it back over and down to there. Boom, nice and tight to the shoulder. Brilliant. So, I'm going to perform this exercise with a heavier club, just so you can see the dynamic movement that's involved. So, when we're ready, guys, from there, club's going to drop down, up, tight to the shoulder, and throw it down. Perfect. Brilliant. Now, the swipe combines the swing and a cast, an arm cast. Again, quite a challenging movement, really good for that force generation from the glutes, firing up the gluteals, but also we're getting a real good range of motion at the shoulder joint as the arm comes over and behind the head. Now, this is a superb exercise for the triceps as well as the glutes and the hamstrings, because not only are you going to decelerate the motion, your triceps have got to fire up to stop flexion at the elbow. Then you're going to extend out of the movement. So you get a double whammy almost on the triceps. So ladies, if you're after shaking off them bingo wings, then power clubs are for you. Brilliant, Anna, looking good. Absolutely fantastic. So we're getting a little bit more dynamic now. Okay, fantastic, clubs down. Perfect, well done you two. Cracking, brilliant. We are on it like a car bonnet. Whenever we do power club training, another important piece of equipment, if you like, that we need is our chalk. We've got to make sure that we've got our chalk. Now, as we perform movements and we're using these big dynamic sort of circular type movements, we're going to find that we may get slightly sweaty palms. And this is where our chalk comes in. It's going to absorb that chalk, absorb the sweat, sorry, and it's going to make our grip just a little bit better on the club and stop that drift and stop the club getting away from us. So don't forget, always chalk up and always make sure that your grip's nice and firm on the club before you start swinging it round your head. We performed a swing and a swipe. So now what we're going to do is we're going to perform a swipe with an opposite leg lunge. Now, we're going to put the two movements together, so we know we've got our swipe and our lunge is going to be the opposite leg. When we put the two movements together, as the club comes up, down to there. As the club comes behind your back, you land your foot for the lunge and push back to there. Bosh. Bosh, down to there. Okay? So again, I'm going to perform this with a slightly heavier club so you can see the dynamic movement that's involved. Rich is going to be doing the same thing as is Hannah, okay? So, when we're ready, guys, from there, let's go into our swipe. Brilliant, keep it going. Now what we're trying to do here is we're going to generate force in lots and lots of different sorts of muscles or areas of the body. Now again, we've got the benefits of the swing and of the normal swipe, but now we're putting sort of combining movements, and we're putting two movements together, and we're going to perform a lunge at the same time. Again, it's quite challenging, and it's also extremely challenging not only for our muscular system, but also for our nervous system as well, which is sort of telling us where we're going to be and where our body is and what it's doing. Okay, so very, very beneficial, not only for our nervous system, not also for our skeletal system, sorry, but for our nervous system. And again, if we can move well by training well, then that's absolutely superb. Superb, that's fantastic, Hannah. Rich, you are mashing it up. I'm loving that. Tremendous, okay, clubs down. How do we feel there then, guys? We're starting to get heart rate's going a little bit now. Yeah? Grip's starting to go a little bit there, Rich.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you had four arms like me, you'd probably be okay.
Man, I'm trying.
Rich and Hannah are really putting the work in today, and now we're going to go to one of the most dynamic movements that you can perform with a club, a complete range of motion at the shoulder, and this exercise is referred to as the mill. So to demonstrate, again, I'm going to use my my little club. From there, from the order position, I'm going to push the club across my body, so out that way. The club's then going to swing down. As it comes up, I'm going to bend my elbow so the club drops down in between my shoulder blades, turn and throw the club out and back round. So we're going to have a nice circular flowing pattern. Now this is extremely challenging on the grip, because the faster the club, the harder you've got a grip, the more it's trying to get away from you. So either drop the weight of the club, or make sure that you're nice and fresh for this particular movement. So, when we're ready, guys, clubs up, into the order position, inside the body when you're ready, where we go, out to there, behind the shoulder, and throw the club out. Perfect. So we're getting that full, complete range of motion at the shoulder joint, and some decent movement at the shoulder girdle. The next movement we're going to look at is the mill. Now, the mill is the big kahuna, it's the big daddy of Power Club training. And what we're going to do with the mill is we're going to get a full, complete range of motion at the shoulder joint. Extremely challenging because we're going to be moving very, very fluid, very rapidly. So we may, again, want to drop the weight of the club just a touch, or make sure that we're well Charlie chalked up and we're ready to go. Good stuff, Hannah. Perfect, Rich. We're looking good. Okay, clubs down. Absolutely fantastic. We are on it like a car bonnet. The last movement that we're going to perform today for our little programme is going to be a double crossbody arm cast. Now, again, I'm going to use my trusty light club. We're going to start in this position with the club just over the shoulder. Now, my right hand's uppermost on the club. So we're going to come down across the body, okay? So from there, I'm going to throw the club down and rotate. And then I'm going to throw the club back up and rotate. This, hence the name, double crossbody cast. So from there, it should look something like this. Okay. So let's go for it, guys. Let's get our heavier clubs. Double hand grip. We're going to start with the club on our shoulder. From there, when we're ready, the final movement we're going to look at is a double crossbody cast. Now, this is absolutely superb for our core musculature and a very, very functional movement. We don't train a great deal through rotation, so what we want to do is really sort of get that movement pattern down because we use it in everyday life, even when we walk. So, the double crossbody cast, we're going to throw the club down, but then we're also going to throw it up. So we get both sides of the movement, the acceleration and the deceleration, acceleration and deceleration coming the opposite way as well. Keep it going. Superb, just let the head of the club fall away from you, Rich, as you come down. Perfect, that's it, fantastic. Absolutely tremendous. Okay, club's down. Brilliant, guys, well done. I am impressed. Now, as you can see, when we're doing the different movements, I have two weights in front of me. Now, the lighter weight is purely there for sort of demonstration purposes, because as I try to show you the movements in slow motion, it'd be a little bit too much when I'm using a larger weight. So my weight is purely there for demonstration purposes. Now, Hannah, on the other hand, because some of the movements become more dynamic and more challenging, the faster the movement, the more that club's trying to get away from you. So if it's a swing that Hannah's performing, she may decide to use the slightly heavier club. If it's a swipe or a mill, she may drop to a slightly lighter club, just so that she can perform the movement with good technique, because technique is of course fundamental importance when we look at using and training with power clubs. Now, it's important, never forget to do a cool down and a stretch off. I like to think of it like my car. So I'm not going to be bombing it down the motorway in 5th gear and then suddenly drop it into 1st gear, because I may very well sort of blow my engine up, which wouldn't be pretty. So we're going to slip our way through the gears, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd and into 1st. So, dead nice and gentle, guys. We're going to put our arms down by our sides. Just a little bit of rotation, complete relaxation. Just let your arms drift from side to side. And we're just going to let our pulse rate come down. Nice and easy. Tremendous. And then we're just going to start shaking our legs out. So again, remember, we're not firing any muscles up here, because it's important we're promoting relaxation. So what we want to do is fire up as little musculature as possible, and we're just shaking things out, getting everything loose. We're getting the blood back into circulation, bringing our heart rate down, and telling our body that we've finished work. My body thinks that I've never started work, but that's how it goes. Okay, last one we're going to do, guys, we're going to do a little bit of a glute stretch, because we have really sort of fired them up and smashed them up a little bit. So what we're going to do is down on your backs. And then from there, lift one leg, put your hands in sort of like the crook of your knee, keep your knee flexed, and then just pull your leg in towards your chest. Keep your head back, because again, don't forget, we're trying to promote sort of relaxation. If we have our head up, we've got more muscles firing. Okay, guys, change legs. Brilliant. Okay, down we go. You can have a little bit of a sleep if you want. Well, I was only joking, mate. I was only joking. Brilliant, Rich. Fantastic, mate. Well done, geezer. Good stuff. Hannah, well done, mate. Thank you very much. Tremendous. We've come to the end of the show. You've sort of learnt some movements as far as dynamic power club training goes. We've done a little bit of a programme. I'm still sweating from it. How do we find it today, Rich?
Mate, great. Always feeling pretty good. Shoulders nice and open now, feel pretty loose. The old forearms taking a pace in as always.
So the forearms are tight, shoulders are loose?
I've worked that one out.
Brilliant. Hannah?
Very, very good. Lots of cardiovascular, and obviously the ladies don't always have a lot of strength in their arms, so it's a really good workout for my wrists and my grip strength.
Absolutely fantastic. So, as you can see, two experts doing a little bit of Power Club training. So, I hope to see you next time, and this is Ben McDonald signing off.